So this is a short video on how to sort your data in Excel. You can do this manually, but I'm also going to show you how you can use Excel to help you. First thing you're going to want to do is open your data. Now your data is in a Word file, so let's open that. And for this exercise, I am going to be student 30. You will need to find your student number, whatever you've been allocated by your teacher. But for this video, I'm student 30. Now we need to select our data and we're going to copy it into Excel. So you'll see as I hover over this table, I've got this icon appearing at the top. If I just come and make this page active when I'm hovering over this table, the icon is now here. So coming back to student 30, coming up to the icon at the top, right clicking on it, and I'm going to go copy. I am then going to open an Excel file. So I'm going to come to the search bar, I'm going to type in Excel, and the Excel app is going to be at the top of the list then. I'm going to double click it to open it. Once it is open, I am then going to select the blank workbook, and this will be the workbook where I paste my data. So I am going to go to cell cell B2 to insert my data. I like to start here. You can start wherever you like. If I start here, that gives me one row at the top and one column at the side if I need to add things later. So I'm going to go to cell B2. I right click on B2. I go to paste options and I'm going to choose the first icon. I'm going to select that and my data is going to be inserted. Now this is all looking good apart from some of my column widths are a bit not how I like them. So I'm going to auto width them by coming and letting my icon hover between each column and then double clicking when this icon appears. So I'm going to do that for all of them. I'm going to have a quick look and I'm going to say, I'm not so happy with what the computer has done with column D. So I'm going to make it a bit wider, a little bit wider again, maybe just a tad wider, and I get something that is looking better. I'm also going to make column B a little bit wider, so it looks a bit nicer. And then row 3 is now a bit too high, so I'm going to use the auto height adjustment by double clicking between the two rows, and it's going to give me a much nicer row now. So that is my data, all into Excel. I'm going to save this file now by clicking on Save. I am then going to click More Options and Browse, and I'm going to go to my folder where I'm saving all my work. Now this is my folder where I'm saving my work. I'm going to give this spreadsheet a name. I'm going to call it IA2 because it's IA2 assignment we are doing. So I am saving that. Actually, I might save it as IA2 Mr. Stats. Because when I submit this, if I need to ever email it to my teacher is going to know this is the file with my name in it. So I'm going to click Save, and my work is now saved. Now the first step we're going to do is we're going to be sorting our data. So if I have a look, I need to decide what is it I'm actually sorting. So for this assignment, we need to sort the annual income so that we can do our box plots. I have a look at my data. I've got half of my data is high school data, and then I've got half of my data is post-secondary data. I've got 60 observations in total, 30 observations of each. So we want to sort the high school data and then we're going to sort the post-secondary data. Let's start with high school. I'm going to select all my data for high school all the way from the observation number across the income and all the way down to observation 30. So that's all of my data selected. It's quite important. Now I'm going to sort it. So I'm going to come to data at the top. I'm going to click this button that says sort. Now in here, there is some options. So I have a thing up here that says my data has headers. Now I go back and I have a look at my data, and the headers are actually these things across here. Let's say the hash for number, education, time on media, annual income. So I would actually like to use those. So I'm just going to cancel for a minute. I'm going to come back to my data and I'm going to select everything, including the headers now, all the way down to observation 30. I'm going to come back to sort, and now you'll notice that when I've selected my data has headers, it's automatically updated the selection, but most importantly, when I go sort by now, in here it's got the observation number, education, time on social media, and annual income. Now I want to sort by this column, so I'm going to choose annual income, and I'm going to sort from smallest to largest. And I click OK. Just before I click OK, you'll notice that currently my observations are numbered in order 1, 2, 3, 4. So when I click OK, my data is now sorted, starting at the smallest annual income and increasing. And all of my observation numbers have moved with the data. So if I go down here and I find number 1, this is the observation that was originally at the top of the list. And we see now that it's been moved to nearly at the bottom. So that's high school data has been sorted. The next step is to sort our post-secondary data. So I'm going to select my post-secondary data and make sure I get all of it from observation number across the annual income and down to the bottom. Now you'll notice here we don't have our headers. Our headers are all the way at the top. So this time when I go sort, I am going to unclick my data has headers because at the moment it's automatically adjusted my selection. And so if I unclick that, I now have all of my data selected. If I check this, it's not going to sort everything. It's only going to sort from the row here, from the second row down. So I uncheck that. I've got all my data selected. I'm going to sort by. Now, when I hit sort by, we see columns B, C, D, E. So I'm going to figure out which column I need to sort by. It's column E. I'm choosing column E. I'm sorting from smallest to largest. And I am clicking OK. Now you'll notice that for post-secondary, my data is now for annual income sorted from smallest to largest, and all of my observation numbers have been jumbled around, and the column that was time on social media has also been moved with my observations. Once I have done that, I've now sorted my data, so I'm going to click Save, and that's saved. I need to get this data back into my task sheet. So if I go and have a look at my task sheet, this is what I'm talking about. This is my task sheet. So over here, I have got all of my data for high school. I've got room for 30 observations, high school, and I'm going to put my annual income in here. It's sorted. The same for post-secondary. I'm going to put my sorted data in here. So now if I come back to my Excel, I want to select all of just my cells for high school. And let's keep going down. I want to make sure I've got my high school. So high school stops here on this row. Check that I've got starting at the top. I do. I can tell because my green box goes around all of those cells. Then going to click on those cells and I'm going to go copy. And I'm going to drop those. I'm going to select my task sheet. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to select my cells where I want to put them. And I'm going to right click on those cells and I'm going to go, no, we don't want to nest the table. We want to overwrite the cells. So I'm going to select overwrite the cells. And you will see that they are now pasted into my annual income. Now, if I have a quick check of the formatting, I see that my bottom line has just dropped off the page a little bit. So I'm just going to see if I can adjust this. I just need to adjust my screen by my task sheets. This table layouts. Let's make my row heights. Alright, everything is now fitting in my table, and my table's all on the one screen. So everything is here. I see what the issue was. So we change the font. Let's make it all. There we go. Let's keep it black so we can see it. And let's keep it as Calibri. Is that what I've got here? Yeah. Fonts are consistent. So I have now got all my data pasted in for high school, and it's in order from smallest to largest. I need to do the same for post-secondary, so I'm going to come to my post-secondary table. I'm going to come back to my Excel data, and I'm now going to hit escape to unselect my previous cells, my post-secondary data, and then go and select the first one and drag all the way to the bottom. Then I am going to right click on it and copy. I'm going to come to Word, to my task sheet. We'll try it different. Let's just select the first cell this time, right click there, and if we go to paste, not the nested table, no one inserts rows, we want to overwrite cells. So we select overwrite cells, and it inserts the data for us. So we now have the data of annual income sorted from smallest to largest. One little finishing, again, our data has slipped over onto the next page. So I'm just going to go to the table design and I'm going to make sure that the row height falls a bit too is on height 6. Does that fix it? No, let's go back to height 5. There we go. Now, my table is all on the one page and all of my data is in. So I'm then going to click on save, and I'm just going to go and turn off this little icon so that we can see our screen a bit clearer. And I have got my data now sorted. In the next video, I'm going to show how we can then work out our 5-number summary and fill in this part of the top sheet. So clicking on save, and we are done.